stories of entrepreneurs and how they overcame the struggles and challenges to get where they are today. This is Believe in the Entrepreneur with Joel Sandoval, CPA.
What it is, welcome to another episode of Believe in the Entrepreneur, and I'm super excited because I have Tom Delaney in the house, who is a founder, CEO of the Pool Builder Academy, is also a sales expert in the pool business, and traveled all the way from Arizona to come visit me here in Bakersfield. So Tom, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So Tom has a pretty interesting story. So he was kind of like, I feel like just new sales was for him from the very beginning, but he's kind of gone through ups and downs to get to where you are now. So Tom, but tell me a little bit about who you are and how you got into this industry.
Yeah, it's funny. I was, growing up, I was always, I was an only child. So I was always around adults, got real used to talking to people at a real early age. So, going through high school, I was always working. When I was 15, I had a job. I was at Kmart pushing carts.
Yep.
Then I started working for a golf course, and I was carrying people's bags up to their rooms, making tips. Like I was always kind of like a hustler.
Yeah.
While my buddies were, playing sports and doing what they wanted to do. So, but I was making money because my parents said, you want to have a car to drive to school, you need to at least meet us halfway and start working. So I just, it's what I did.
Yeah.
And then I got used to having some money on me. So, I started working, and then I was in college, actually. I was 6 months into college. 9/11 just happened. And then like a couple weeks later, I'm sitting there and I just was like, this is not for me. I can't do this for another 4 more years.
Yeah.
Like I got to be out there doing stuff. So I just called my parents. I said, I'm out of here. And they're like, well, cool. At least you saved us from 4 years of tuition, So like, that's great. All right, what are you going to do now? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to do something. So I started getting into personal fitness training.
Okay.
At 17, I flew out to the Cooper's Institute in Dallas, got certified as a trainer at this place for a week. And then I had a job with a friend of mine who owned a personal training company inside of a larger gym. So I started doing that, built up a clientele pretty quick. Here I was just barely turning 18.
Wow.
And then one of my clients, he owned a landscape pool company. And he said, you should come work for me in sales. He said, you'd be perfect for sales. I said, yeah, but I don't know anything about the business. He goes, don't worry about it. I'll teach you. I said, okay. So I started working for him part-time.
Yeah.
While I was doing the fitness training.
Gotcha.
A year and a half later, I became the sales manager of his company. So 19 years old, he puts me in charge of the sales. That first year, we hit $1 million. So he's a small mom and pop company.
Wow.
20 employees. We hit $1 million, and he's like, think it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
This is in 2001. So that goes on to turn into me doing $5-6 million a year for him for the next, I worked there for 6-7 years after that.
Wow.
And just consistently every year hitting these big numbers. And the company grew. We grew from 20 people when I started to when I left, 150 employees.
Wow.
Yeah. So, so I left, started my own business for a while, and ended up, that's when the struggle kind of hit, because now I was a great sales guy. But
yeah.
I wasn't good at managing a company, scheduling jobs, selling the jobs, making sure they get done, collecting the money at the end. Like I couldn't do all that.
Yeah.
So it kind of, it really created some struggle, because
Yeah.
I had my own employees now. Like I had every Thursday, I was like, how am I going to pay these guys tomorrow? Because these jobs aren't done. So I'm not getting paid. So what it did is it put me in a situation where I was constantly under stress, constantly under pressure. And, I was making bad decisions. I was doing drugs, alcohol every single day. And I got to the point where I felt like I had to do that in order to, just get to the next day.
Right.
So it was just like this hamster wheel for me. I couldn't get off of it. Plus my marriage was going to shit. Like I was just, everything was falling apart at that time. And I had 2 little kids, Max and Sarah, and they were just babies. And here I was just fighting to survive.
Wow.
Like just constantly trying to figure things out. And it became normal to me to be in a bad spot.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, because obviously sales and business, even though they're related, running a business is completely different from just sales, right? There's so many moving parts and pieces, where sales is just like, hey, you're just hustling, trying to get that next deal.
That's right.
Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to run the operation smoothly.
That's right.
And that's probably where you kind of maybe realize that, damn, I got to figure out this other stuff.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of like Patrick Bet-David always says. There's like number one guys, and there's guys who are good at being number two.
Yeah,
I'm like the number two guy. Like if you already have the infrastructure and you have the secretaries in place and all those different departments covered.
Yeah,
I'll go in there and just if all I have to do is sell.
Yeah,
there's nobody better in the world, in my opinion, than me.
Nice
at selling pools. I could sell anything. The joke is, if sales to me doesn't matter what you're selling.
Yeah,
it's the same. You do this. You act the same way. You create the same vision for if you're selling cars, pools, jewelry. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So, but I just happen to be stuck in the pool industry. So, which is fine with me. I love it.
Yeah. So how'd you even like get good at sales? So like, cause for me, sales it's actually like one of my weaknesses. Mm-hmm. Like I was good at doing taxes. I was good at like even the operations side came really natural to me, but the sales side, I had to take sales training. I had to learn from other mentors on like how to sell the vision that you're talking about. Like I didn't know any of that, but you kind of knew that from an early age. So like, how did that come so natural to you?
It's just, maybe because my father was in sales. My dad started selling when he was he had a big family. There was 10 of them in his family, plus his parents, so 12 in his house. Big Irish family. We're from Boston. I was born in Boston. And I got a great family out there, all hardworking, hard workers. And from a very early age, my dad learned that you need to work.
Right.
We need to eat. Our family needs milk. All of you need to help contribute to this family. So he started working at 14.
Wow.
On Blackstone Street in downtown Boston, selling meat and vegetables and all these different things.
Yeah.
And it turns out he ends up being like a rock star sales guy. And he goes on to work for a national company, awards, salesman of the year for the nation, like all kinds of stuff like that. And then, so he's always been in sales, and I kind of just picked up that same, knack for it, that personality for it. So talking to people is something that just comes easy to me. Yeah.
So were you like around them all the time or something, or what, did you just kind of like get that from just observing them?
Probably both. Yeah, I was around. My dad was always around. He's still around. My parents are still married. They're going on 49 years.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's incredible. So lots of ups and downs. My dad, I kind of copied my dad's pattern in my adult life because he would be the best at whatever he was doing. He was number one. He had to be number one at it. And then, because of alcoholism, he would, relapse, I'd come home from school. He'd be on the couch, passed out, and I'm like, here we go again.
Yeah.
And he would lose a job. But it seems like every time he lost that job, though, he would come back and get a better one.
Oh, wow.
He would always bounce back.
Yeah.
He could crash and burn and rebuild.
Oh, wow.
Better every time. And then just not even paying attention to myself.
Yeah.
Looking back into my 20s, my early 30s, I would do the same thing. I'd get everything going really good, making good money. Everything's going good. And for some reason, Tom's got to burn it down. Start again, be at the bottom of the barrel looking up, and so I created that destructive pattern.
Yeah.
And, but just, I could always bounce back though, because any company,
right.
If you're a really good sales guy, you can get a job anywhere.
For sure.
People don't care what your record looks like. They don't care if you're a felon. They don't care about anything. If you can make them money, they want you.
Yeah.
And I always could just bounce back up.
Nice.
On my feet. Yeah.
So how'd you get into those bad habits though? Like, because your parents have been, married for 49 years. And like for me, I was, thankfully for me, like my parents kind of instilled in me like, hey, if you start doing drugs, obviously you're going to go down this path that you don't want to go to. And so like I got tempted in high school and stuff like that. And the girls, obviously, the ladies, I'm like, obviously I was tempted to do it, but I never actually like let it become an addiction or anything like that. But so tell me about that experience. Like, how did you get into that hole, and then how'd you bounce back from that?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Everything was going really well till I was about 24, 25, and somebody introduced me to cocaine. To be wide open with you about it. I loved it. I would literally sounds crazy, but I'd have a sales meeting at like a big home builder's office, and I'd be in the parking lot doing a bump.
Oh, wow.
Right before the sales meeting, go up there, sell a $700,000 model center or whatever I was doing at the time. And I thought I was unstoppable. I really did. It's like Superman syndrome.
Gotcha.
You just think that stuff is making you do better, but really everything else around you is falling down.
Yeah.
You're hanging out in bad places. You're around drug dealers. But you trick yourself into thinking I'm doing great. I got money in my pocket. I got a great job. Everybody tells me how great I am at selling. But really, everything wasn't that good. So once I got hooked on that, that brought me down a path of, 10 years of just ups and downs and destruction. It's a very destructive drug habit, because it's not only is it expensive, like you're having trouble paying your bills every month, but you're making sure you got a couple grand for drugs,
Right.
So so that was my downfall.
Yeah.
If you want to put it that way. But I always, like I said, I'll always rebound though.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I really got to the point where I was sick and tired of the ups and downs and the roller coaster that I started to change. So
gotcha. Yeah. I always tell like my business owners, like, it's not about how much money you make, but rather how much money you get to keep. And if you're making a bunch of money, it's easy to spend it, right? Because you're just like, man, I'm those coming in. Let me go buy whatever it is you want. Whether it's, you could pretty much buy anything once you have money. But then at the end of the day, it's like, what are you left with?
Right.
What's the legacy you're going to pass on? And then that's kind of how I have to educate my clients. But it's not easy for them when they have these patterns of like just overspending, doing whatever they want.
I had that.
Yeah.
That was me 100%. Like I drove nice cars, brand new vehicles. I was buying everything. And it was really like I thought I had all these things, but really all those things just owned me because I had to work so much harder to make sure everything got paid every month.
Right.
I didn't need to be driving a Mercedes. I was like, I should have been saving money and being smart with it. And other people, like my parents, were like hard workers, savers, credit scored. They'd never missed a payment their entire life on anything, and they tried to get me to do that. But I said, no, Tom knows better than you guys. I need to be driving the flashy car and doing this. And so it was, that it got to the point where when I lost my house in 2010, like, well, so did a lot of people at that time, but I ended up giving my house back to the bank.
Okay.
Because I just couldn't make the mortgage payment, run my company, pay employees. It was just got to be too much. And they actually said to me one day, they said, you're in default. We'll pay you like $5,000 if you just let us have the house. I was like, cool. Wow. So I did that. And then I lost the cars. And then, you just start losing things.
Oh, wow.
And so I just kind of created this mental block towards, material possessions. So when I got divorced 7 years ago, I literally walked out with a duffel bag in my hand. I didn't take one thing out of the house because I didn't want my two kids to feel like, why is dad taking all the couch and the TV? It didn't mean nothing to me.
Gotcha.
I didn't care about those things.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still I like nice things, but I could walk out with a duffel bag.
Nice.
And I just rebuild it again.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's super powerful because at the end of the day, like the material stuff, I mean, once we hit the grave, that material stuff's not going to come with us. we got to enjoy it while we're alive, but at the end of the day, it's like what you pass on to your legacy is more important.
I agree.
And you got to build that wealth and that, that generational wealth. But when you're having success, it almost reminds me even like the movie with the movie Wolf of Wall Street. Okay. Wolf of Wall Street. So like, he's like crushing it in business, right? And it almost seems like it's obviously a fake story, but it just seems so real. Like, he loses his marriage, right? He just kind of loses track of like his initial goals that he had. In the beginning, he was just like, hey, I just want to crush it in business.
Right.
But then the money starts coming in and then he's just like, girls, ladies, drugs. And it's like, and he's crushing it in business, but it's like, he's kind of like not really having his head on straight.
Yep.
That's kind of the picture that I'm getting that you're kind of.
That was kind of me.
Yeah.
But not to that extreme with his money, though. if I had that kind of money, I'd be dead right now.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't be sitting here because I would have killed myself by overdosing or doing something stupid because that's how I was. Fast cars, drugs, whatever I could get to get an adrenaline rush was what I did.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a high energy person already.
Yeah.
So the last thing I need is to be, on anything because it's just, it's just a bad combination for me. And I learned that, but it took me to hell and back multiple times. I paved the road to hell, man. Like that's how many times I've been there.
Yeah.
And it's like, it took me doing that, I think, to start to really build the life that I'm building now with my wife. So it's,
yeah.
So
how'd you break out of that habit? Cause I mean, that can be, cocaine's like one of the biggest, addictions that you could have. So like to break away from that, I could just imagine even any addiction, right? If it's like, once you need it, you just like, it almost becomes like you just have you just crave it.
Yeah.
So how'd you break away from that?
It's mental. It's really for me. Cocaine wasn't like a lot of other drugs where you have withdrawals and all that. Like you either using it or you just not the next day. But for me, it was more like number one. My wife was like, no more of this. This is crazy. Like we're trying to build a life together, and you're just making stupid decisions. You're still using, like, you know, so it got to the point where I was like, I'm going to lose another marriage. My life still sucks. My kids I kind of lost my relationship with my two little ones for a while because I was just a shitty dad, you know.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know, I had my head, you know, just wasn't there. So, and I regret that to this day. So I'm at the point now where it's like living a good life, getting somewhere finally is more important to me than any drug on earth.
Yeah,
it is, because it's like, I'm tired. I was tired of being nowhere or feeling like I'm working so hard just to have nothing. So I got tired of that, you know, and it just, you know, 10, 12 years of doing that cycle, you know, wears you out.
So you just had enough. You're like,
I had enough.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I'm done with this.
I had enough. Yeah. It was time to grow up and, you know, become the person that I knew I was capable of being.
Yeah.
Because I always saw myself like, I want to be the guy who's got the big house, the nice cars, the boats, you know, and not like, not because I want those material possessions, but I just saw myself in a big, you know, better life.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get there because I kept doing stupid things.
Yeah. It's almost like you just had a partner with me from the beginning and it would have been good.
I wish. There's a lot of people in my life right now that I'm blessed to have in my life that have, you know, gotten me to where I'm at right now. Yeah. So, because you know, I'm not a religious person, but I've always believed that God gives you everything at the right time when you're ready for it. Right. If he would have let me be a millionaire in my 20s, like I said, it probably would have killed me. Yeah. I wasn't ready for it, or I would have just burned up the money. Yeah. Making stupid decisions, stupid purchases. So I had to mature. I had to mature to a point where, you know, and give up those bad habits for me to start getting some abundance, you know? Yeah. So. Yeah. Nice. I mean, fast forward to today. I mean, now you're crushing in business. So tell me a little bit about what's going on right now as far as your pool business. Yeah. I'm partnered up with Omni Pool Builders, which, you know, the growth we've had in the last few years has been just tremendous. So I'm very excited to be a part of a group of entrepreneurs who are running a business. You know, they give me the support I need to go out there and sell like I do. So, you know, on average, I try to, you know, I think last year I sold about 100 pools. Wow. Which is good. Like it's like, that's like real top tier for Arizona, for pool sales guys, you know? So yeah, we're growing the business. We want to build this company into a $40-50 million company, franchise it out if we can, you know? So they have the same goals that I have. And a friend of mine, actually, a few years back, I was working for another guy his company was going down. Like his checks wouldn't even cash at the bank when I'd go there. Oh, wow. Yeah. They'd be like, come back tomorrow, maybe, you know, like, oh my gosh. So I got a phone call from a mentor of mine. And he said, you know what, I'm going to partner you up with my guys over here. And he put the good word in, said, you got to hire Tom. And they took a chance on me. And this was at a point, this was when I was just kind of really getting into, you know, changing my mindset and trying to make these changes. So it couldn't have happened at a better time. So they took me on, and I just said, you know, you hire me, I'll do $5 million a year easily for you. And that's what I did. Nice. You know, I went out there and just proved it because I appreciated having that opportunity, you know? Yeah. So that's cool. So do you have like a team that works under you, or is it all you just? We got 4 sales guys in the company. So, you know, they don't do quite the volume that I do. But they're, you know, they're new to sales, you know, so I work with them. Yeah. One of our guys, you know, when he came on board, he never sold anything in his life, you know, but he had the motivation. You know, he wanted to make some money. He was kind of, you know, a little bit hungry for that. So, you know, I kind of worked with him, cultivated him a little bit. I would structure text messages for him. Yeah. And I would even type the text saying, take this text, send it to your client right now. And then let me know what they say. And he's like, wow, that works. You know, like, you know, it's like my process that I do things. I try to teach these new guys, you know. Yeah. And sure enough, his second or third month in the company, he did $500,000. Wow. Never sold a pool in his life. I'm like, you see? So, you know, that's where we're at right now. You know, we're trying to build sales guys. Nice. Yeah. And you basically turn that into a training, right? Because now you're building a pool builder academy. Correct. So for anyone who wants to basically sell pools, they can just go to your academy and learn how to sell. Yeah. You know, the idea behind that is, and it's taken me a couple of years to develop this. I've been spending a lot of time creating content, writing. I'll sit there and write journals of just content, of sales content that I think is going to be valuable. So, you know, just to backtrack a little bit, when I started getting into personal development, Brad Lee with Lightspeed was one of the first guys that I found. Because I said, you know, I got to do something to start changing the way I think about things. So I started researching on YouTube, and I found Brad Lee. And immediately I connected with him. I said, this guy right here talks just like me.
Yeah.
You know, he's smooth. Like, I like this guy, and everything he talks about, I'm like, he's right on point. You know? So I started following him, listening to every single episode he had of Dropping Bombs. I found Ed Milet, Grant Cardone, and I just kind of went down that rabbit hole of finding these guys who are inspiring me to be better.
Right.
So I started, what I was doing is just taking thousands of hours of content and just putting it into my brain. Like, I'd be sitting there, I have to design a pool, right? It might take me 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to design a pool. So I have my ear pods in while I'm designing. Well, instead of listening to music, I started just listening to these podcasts.
Yeah.
All day long, every day. Then I get in my car to go somewhere, it kicks on in the car. I got obsessed with listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
So one day we fly into Vegas for our birthdays, and I had already been messaging Brad just through Instagram, you know, and he would always respond back. I'm like, this guy's cool, but maybe it's like his secretary or something responding. I don't know, you know, these guys are probably too busy. You know, but Brad actually does. And we went out there, and I got off the airplane. I said, Brad, I'm in Vegas right now. Can I come by? And he's like, sure, come on over. I'm like, yeah, this guy would be fake, man. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
So we got an Uber and went over there, spent half a day, a whole afternoon with him.
Wow.
And he's just sitting down, and here I am sitting next to my mentor, you know.
Yeah.
It was surreal for me at the time. Like, I felt like a kid going to Disneyland seeing Mickey Mouse for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, there's Mickey Mouse. Like, that's how I felt. So it was in that motivated me to start this, you know, to create the training courses. So
nice.
Now we're at the point with Pool Builder Academy where we're you know, I'm about to go out there and start filming courses actually for real now.
Yeah.
All the infrastructure's kind of done.
Yeah.
We're just setting up some target marketing campaigns, but really the idea behind it is I want to create a platform where people could, you know, if you own a pool company, obviously it's in your best interest that everybody there is selling as many pools as possible, right? Because your goal as an entrepreneur and owner of a business is to sell it, to create value in your company and then sell it one day, right? And you ride off into the sunset after you sold your business. So, you know, it's in their best interest for their sales guys to be, you know, it's competition like this. There's a lot of pool builders, especially in Arizona. There's thousands of pool builders. So, you know, I think if you can teach your guys to compete at a higher level and win more jobs, your company grows and it benefits the industry because more products being sold. It's just everybody wins. So I want to be able to go on there and train people how to sell more pools and do the tips and tricks that I use to beat all my competition. Yeah. And then also too, how to market your company. Right. That's just as important, in my opinion. You could be the best sales guy in the world, but if your company doesn't know how to market themselves, chase the awards, chase the Pool Builders of the Year awards, or, you know, whatever industry you're in, if your company doesn't do that for you, and you don't have the leads coming in, you're just a wasted sales guy. For sure. You have to have that marketing. So I want to even do train marketing on the platform. Nice. Financing for pools. One of the ways that I sold so many pools last year is because financing, the rates went down, and I was able to take advantage of that. And so I started telling people, even people had $200,000 in cash. I say, why are you going to use your cash when you could use the bank's money now and get financed and keep your cash and let that keep working for you? Yeah, great. So I was selling pools through financing like crazy. You know, it was like a little secret thing for me. Like, I just used it to my advantage. So like, I want to teach a whole course on why it's important to finance pools and just, you know, to create a platform. I could do product training on pumps. I to put everything we want on this platform. Yeah. That's awesome. And actually there's a big need here. There's a big market for pools here in Bakersfield as well, because, you know, we have similar weather to Arizona where it's 107 degrees and everyone's like wanting to, you know, I have family members that like come to my house like almost every single day while I'm working and they're enjoying my pool. I'm like, what's going on? So there's a big market for it. But, you know, my experience was when I bought my pool, you know, I obviously got different quotes and stuff. But for me, the biggest decision, you know, the way I made the decision was like based on the quality of the pool. Because I knew exactly that they were going to build what I wanted. And so I was like, all right, now at that point, it was just like, all right, let's just figure out this whole financing thing. But that was the differentiator for me. So like, how do you differentiate yourself from other pool companies, you know, where you're selling? Yeah, you know, one of the keys really, and especially right now, is just simply calling people back. Right. You know, we get so many clients that call us and like, I like if you call our office, like my office, you know, they screen it, you know, and kind of, you know, they'll give me the lead and I try to call them that same day. Hey, I'm Tom. Or what I'll do is actually I'll send them a text. Gotcha. Hey, I'm Tom with Omni Pools. I received your information from my secretary, Donna. I'm looking forward to working with you folks. When can we meet? So now they got a text. Then I call them, have a really good conversation, find out what they want. And then when I get off the phone with them, I start sending them content. I start sending them, I got thousands and thousands of pool designs in my phone that I categorize.
Nice.
So if they say, I want a geometric pool with a spa and a water feature and this and that, well, I go into my phone after I got the phone with them.
Yeah.
And I start sending them designs I've done that are similar. And they're like, oh, that's exactly what we want.
Yeah.
So now you get them excited about it. They can start to see their backyard looking like these things. Because the average guy in competition, they're like, if they even call them back 2 weeks later,
right,
then they're like, okay, I'll come see you. Okay, give me a month to get your design done. Like, people want to spend $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. They want to spend it now and they want to get going.
For sure.
Hello, take advantage of that. You like cars. You want a new vet. You find what you want and you go get it.
Yeah.
You don't wait around for somebody to call you. Hey, I found your vet for you.
No.
So that's one of the ways how I just, it's speed. You just got to be quick about it.
Yeah, 100%. When we were buying our pools during the pandemic, so all the pool builders are backed up. Like, even just to get somebody to show up to my place, I think it took 2 months. Right. Just to get them to show up. And I was like, man, I can't even get anyone on the phone. So that seems crazy. That's cool that you're basically taking advantage of that. And so, but how can you not get overwhelmed? Because they could just be because we have so many leads for our tax business, and it's almost too much. It's we can't even it's all right, at some point we just got to cut it off, and I need time for my family and stuff. But is it just your energy that
it is?
Okay.
It is. I'm a workaholic.
Yeah.
I'm 24/7.
Nice.
I have clients, they're doctors, and they're like, Tom, I don't get off of work till midnight tonight, but I need to get this done. Cool, no problem. Call me at midnight. I'll answer your call.
Nice.
Yeah. You know what? You got to look at it like this. I come from a point, really, for me, sales also too is coming from a point where you have to appreciate your client and let them know that you appreciate their business. They're spending they're spending their hard-earned money.
Yeah. If
they're spending it with you, show them that you appreciate that.
Yeah.
Be flexible with them. Work around their schedules.
Yeah.
They don't need to hire you. There's 10 other pool builders,
Yeah.
But they're going to go with whoever shows them that they want their business.
100%.
So by being fast, you call them back, you show them, help them out right off the bat with showing them ideas, go out there and see them, meet them, get that ball rolling with them.
Yeah.
They're going to probably just stick with you because nobody else is really taking that time.
Yeah.
And they deserve that. They're spending $100,000, $200,000. It's a lot of money.
Yeah. And so do you have the confidence that you're going to close them? If you're going to take a call at midnight, you have to be all right, this has got to be worth my time. Yeah. So do you just have the confidence that you're going to close them, or is it more just hey, I'm just playing a numbers game?
No, it's not a numbers game. But I honestly think every single lead I get, I'm going to close that lead. And I start from the minute I contact them with the idea that they're already going to hire me. Whether they do or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I treat it like I already have the job.
Got it.
So I give them that service right from the start. And if it comes down to price and they're just budget shoppers, we have a system, through our Donna's one of my secretaries. She, for our company, but she kind of helps me in the sales department. She screens all my leads. She has them fill out a sheet of what they want, what's their budget. So she kind of takes them through that process. And then we also now, if they want financing, Donna gets them financed. Now they can go to any pool builder with the financing, but just because of the fact that we kind of helped them, took them by the hand, got them financed, they usually 9 out of 10 stay with Omni.
Right.
So I can say, okay, all these people want to get financed. Great. All these people are paying cash. I'll focus on the cash people right now. Donna, get them financed. And once they get approved for a loan, let's get them a design and get it done.
Nice.
And so she'll tell them, get your approval. When we get that pre-approval back from the finance company, we'll get you a design. So that motivates them and that weeds them out. If they're not serious, then they're not going to go and get financed.
Yeah.
So we kind of weed them out a little bit.
Yeah. So you're qualifying your leads
Have
too.
Yeah.
Cool. Got it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you talked about, you spend some time basically listening to podcasts, while you're designing the pool. But in my experience, that was done not from the sales guy, but from the architect. So how do you design the pools?
Yeah. It's we have a 3D program called Structure Studios.
Okay.
And I'll show it to you later. But yeah, so I literally self-taught myself. I downloaded the program maybe 4 years ago. And I just started teaching myself because I used to hand draw my pools. I'd hand draw a beautiful backyard, colorize it, and then they're like, let's change it. I'm like, oh man, I gotta redraw this thing,
Yeah.
But, so I'm late to the game with learning the technology because I'm not a computer guy. I just like to be out there talking to people.
Yeah.
And so I learned this program, which is what 9 out of 10 pool builders use this same program. So I create the designs and sell the job.
Nice.
Yeah.
Then this is stuff that people can, like, if they own a pool company or they're a salesperson for a pool company, they can learn this stuff on Pool Builders Academy.
Well, no, we're not. No, maybe. Maybe you just gave me another idea.
Yeah.
But the idea is, no, there's the company Structure Studios that makes this 3D program. They have their own training course on how to run their program.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not going to try to reinvent that wheel.
Right.
That's what they do. Let them train people to learn. But we took on, like I said, we took on 2 new sales guys over the past year, and we had to put them through those instructional videos that company offers, and they're not virtual.
Right.
If they were virtual, they'd be even better.
Right.
But it's a visual thing though. You kind of copy what they're doing on their screen. But yeah, so
that's pretty awesome, man. Because I think sales, like you said, it's the biggest thing in business, right? Without sales, you don't have a business.
Right.
So you need people like you to basically have the money come in. And otherwise, I mean, you're going to go out of business. So that's pretty cool that you're developing a platform for other people, other pool companies to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's about taking ownership. Whether you work for a company or you're self-employed and you're commissioned with a company in sales, when you start to look at their company as your company, that's when you can really start to, you get somewhere with sales. And also too, it's, in my opinion, if they're going to put their company in your hands and they're sending you qualified leads, you need to be selling them, they want to grow a company. They don't want you out there just taking all these leads and you're not really, turning them into sales. So,
right.
I think people, a lot of pool guys need to look at the companies that they work for as if it were their own.
Yep.
How well do you want to feed your family?
100%.
Get moving, Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I mean, let's take it back, because I know before the show you were telling me, like, you got the chance to meet Brad, right? And then you also told me you got to meet Grant Cardone. So tell me about that.
That's cool. Yeah. That's So obviously I was following Grant for a couple of years, and then I was on his email list, just getting updates on all that. And he says he's coming to Scottsdale for an event. Here's your two tickets, Tom. So great. So I told Bree, I said, we're gonna go see Grant in Scottsdale. And she's like, okay. And I said, I'm gonna meet him. She's like, there's no way you're gonna meet Grant. She's like, there's no way you're gonna meet this guy. I said, no, I'm gonna have him sign my book, my 10X book.
Oh, nice.
And then she's like, you're dreaming, man. There's no way. I said, no, I'm gonna do that. Like, I have to meet this guy. So we drive up to Scottsdale from Tucson, and we get to the event. It's at a big hotel, huge event. So there's probably maybe, holds probably 5,000 people, And so we're walking in, and we come around the corner, and we see the sign-up desk, and I go up there, we get signed in. I walk into the room, and it's packed standing room almost.
Yeah.
And I'm the last guy in the room.
Oh, God.
I'm looking at the stage is way up there, and I'm looking at the back of everybody's heads. And she looks at me, she goes, do you still think you're going to get your book signed? And I was like, oh, and I got my book in my hand, and nobody else, I felt, I'm like, no, I'm going to figure it out. So what happens is we're sitting there, and he would do here comes Grant. He gets up on stage. Everybody, getting everybody excited, and then he would have these intermissions where he would tell people to go to the back, and they had all these tables set up, and they would sign up for stuff. Mm-hmm. So what I noticed was a pattern. So this is in the morning. It's like 8 a.m. By 9 o'clock, I'm noticing everybody gets up out of their seat and comes to the back. Mm-hmm. I need to go to the front. So at one point, everybody's coming to the back, and I grabbed Brie. I said, let's go. And she goes, what are we doing? And I said, just come on. So I'm walking to the stage, and every time Grant would get off the stage, he'd go in the back behind the curtain. He would disappear. So we get up there, and everybody's got their stuff on their seats. So I'm like, I can't take somebody's seat. Right. So I'm like, oh, what am I going to do now? And I look to the side of the stage, and there's 7 chairs empty right there. I was like, let's just go sit in those chairs. She's like, no, we can't sit there. I say, yeah, we can. Let's go. So we sit down in these chairs, and the show starts back up. His security guard comes out. Grant comes out. He goes up on stage. Nobody's telling us to move yet.
Nice.
Yeah, so here I am. Now I'm sitting side stage. Grant's on stage, and then Elena and the 2 girls come walking around the curtain, sit next to me.
No way.
Yeah, so now I'm sitting literally next to Elena, and Bree's over, my wife's over here on this side, and security guards are there, and nobody's still. She said, hi, how are you guys? We're just sitting there, sat there the rest of the event.
Wow.
Grant comes off the stage, comes over, signs my book, and they take off to the jet, and they're gone. Got my book signed.
Nice.
And it was the craziest thing. And then people were even coming up to us. They're like, man, what's it like to work for Grant? Like, they thought we were with Grant.
Right.
I sat there for 2 hours side stage.
Wow.
Next to Elena.
Yeah.
She even signed my book, and it was just the craziest thing. But out of everybody in that room,
Yeah.
Got my book signed.
Nice.
Because I was determined to do it.
Yeah.
And I found a way.
Yeah. It's you just have to be creative, right? It's almost like when people are like kind of give up on opportunities where they're like, oh yeah, there's no way that I'm going to be able to, get this deal closed. And it's like, man, you haven't even thought about other creative opportunities. Like for example, in real estate, when people are trying to sell a house or somebody's trying to buy a house and like, I didn't qualify for a loan. They just give up on that dream.
Right.
And it's like, man, what if the seller's willing to finance that for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much opportunity, but it's like, you got to find a way. You got to, the saying goes, if you have the will, you'll find the way.
That's true.
And I think that's kind of what you did. It's like, I got to find a way to get my book signed. I'm not leaving this event until I get it signed.
And I ended up probably being the only one there who got anything signed because every time he'd come off the stage, he'd go to the back curtain,
Yeah.
And like you couldn't get to him. And he just came right over because I was sitting next to his wife and he signed it. And then, she signed it and off he went.
Nice.
That was over. Yeah. It was the craziest thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did you get away with like the security though? Is it just, they just didn't catch that or?
I don't know. I don't know. I just was like, let's just sit in these seats. I didn't even know whose seats they were, but once the show started back up, I realized like, I probably shouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
But then, I was dressed nice. I had a nice suit jacket on, everything. Nice. I was dressed up. So who knows, but then when Elena sat next to me and she wasn't like, who's this guy? Get him out of here. She was being nice as could be to us and didn't tell me to move. I just stayed there the rest of the event.
Yeah. So you dressed the part pretty much.
Yeah, I kind of did, but everybody kind of was too. Everybody was dressed up nice for that. So but I just knew that I said, I am going to meet this guy.
Yeah.
I have to meet him.
Yeah.
He's right here. I just have to find a way to get to him.
That's awesome.
And I just saw that pattern. People were coming to the back. I said, I'm going front.
Yeah. It's almost like it's almost like the opposite. You got to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. It's like during the crash, the real estate crash in 2007, 2008, like everybody was so scared that, people were losing the homes. Like, I'm not going to buy a house. Like everyone's losing it. Dude, that's the best time to buy houses because, the houses are so cheap, and it's like if I would have taken advantage of that opportunity, I would have been a millionaire by the time I was 18 years old, but I had to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Like in your case, everybody was going to the back to buy stuff. You're like, I'm going to the front while everyone else is going to the back.
Right.
So that's pretty cool that you kind of put the pieces together to figure out, okay, I got to do the opposite.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of like, I've always been that type of, like I can always kind of talk my way into anything or talk my way out of anything. Like I'm just like, because I'm so friendly with people.
Yeah.
Like just today flying here, we got on the plane. We're the last seat on the plane. And the stewardess was right there. I was like, I'm going to be watching you. You better behave back here. Okay. I started just joking around with her. Next thing you know, she brings us up to the front of the plane.
No way.
Yeah. She puts us we're the only ones, but she brings us all the way to the front of the plane.
Wow.
Nice big seats. We're like, wow, this is cool. It's just because I was being nice to her back there.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no room for my bag over here. Oh, come on. I was giving her a hard time jokingly. And then she's like, oh, watch this. Come with me. And she took us all the way up there. I was like, cool.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you just got to be nice to people. I think that, once you're nice to people, it's like, you don't even expect that to happen, but it does.
Yeah.
Because you're just generally just trying to like make conversation and stuff like that. So it's probably the same thing. Like, hey, let me just sit right here and see what happens. And Elena saw you. She's like, oh, this guy seems like a friendly guy. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah. So
that's awesome, man. So, I mean, what do you have in store for you next? Obviously, you got the academy that you're building. And so like, what else is in store? Like, where do you see yourself in, 2-3 years?
It's, for me, it's go time right now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm 10 years behind of where I wanted to be. Because I was screwing around and making bad decisions for so long. So for me right now, it's all I care about right now is putting money in the bank, tightening the belt a little bit right now. We have nice things. We have a nice life, but it's time to tighten up a little bit, put the money that I'm making into opportunities that are going to make us even more money.
Yep.
So we can, the house that we're in, we live in a beautiful house, but we're renting it right now, just because I'm not going to buy a house right now in this market.
Right.
So, but really, but then the more I think about it, it's like, okay, well, maybe we want a piece of land.
Yeah.
Where we can have a nice house with a nice backyard, and maybe I can have a shop, or then I can start filling the shop with cool toys. But first things first, it's like, I'm just in work mode.
Gotcha.
Because I feel like I'm making up right now. I'm almost 40. I'll be 39 here in a couple months. And I'm like, I thought I'd already be a millionaire by now.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like I'm just getting into the race. So it's business for me. I'm 24/7. I will work. You can't outwork me right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I mean, tell me, let's take it back a little bit to when you started your own business. Cause you basically built, other people's companies, and then you're like, hey, I'm going to do this on my own.
Yeah.
but sounds like that didn't really quite work out. So like, what were the lessons that you learned during that time?
Man. Yeah, it's fun. It's one of those things where you're thinking like, I'm working this hard and I'm selling for this other guy and I'm watching his life get better and better and better and better. Why can't I do that for myself? So I went out and tried to do it for myself. And like I said, I was missing a lot of the other pieces.
Yeah.
You know? And also too, like to really run a company, you should have some capital behind you.
Yep.
Like to go out there and just start from scratch and like, you know, it's so expensive. And then one mistake or, you know, it's like, you're constantly just chasing your tail.
Yep.
So it was very challenging for me to do it. And then you add in, you know, the alcohol and the drinking and the, you know, the drugs and all that. It makes it almost impossible.
Gotcha.
It'd be like you, like you're now saying, like, I'm going to turn my company over to a guy who just parties and drinks. Like your company would be gone. You wouldn't survive.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, lots of lessons learned the hard way.
Yeah.
You know, I lived with my back against the wall and a gun to my head all the time, like to the point where it got to be like my comfort zone. If shit wasn't hitting the fans, like I thought something was wrong, you know, like I was used to being in a bad spot. Yeah. And I had to basically untrain or relearn my brain. Yeah. And I've only started doing this in the last, you know, 3 to 4 years. Yeah. I had to just put new thoughts into my head to get out of that pattern, that destructive pattern that I had created for myself. So
gotcha. So are you constantly feeding yourself now with like personal development stuff? Gotcha.
Constantly. That's all I do. Yeah. All I do is every podcast. Brad's got 484 episodes or something. I don't miss anything of anything. Nice. I go to the Driven event. Yeah. You know, that we had a great time at that last year. Yeah. I'm looking forward to going to more events this year. So yeah, it's like that's my whole new life now. Nice. Yeah. So that's basically the way you're getting your new high in a sense. It's exactly what it is. Yep. I get high off of, you know, chasing deals now, closing sales, like, you know, seeing our life getting better. Yep. You know, that is my high. Nice. And I chase it like crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Because I think at the end, what you're really looking for is that dopamine feeling. That's right. It's like, you know, you want to feel on top of the world, and it's like you replace the drugs with now success. That's right. That's exactly what it is. Nice. Yeah. I've been able to switch that. And then once I was able to do that, I could, you know, and I saw, you know, the fruits of my labor, if you would, like, then I got hooked on doing that. Nice. So now I get basically like just creating a better version of myself every single day. I wake up every morning thankful for another day. Like a lot of people here say that. I'm honestly thankful for another day. I looked myself in the mirror and I said, dude, the world's yours today. Nice. Take it. And that's what I do, man. You know, nice. I set, it's so easy to wake up and, you know, you start thinking about all the things that are not right in your life, and you start putting negative thoughts in your head from the morning. That, in my opinion, dictates your entire day. 100%. It just dictates. So I wake up with positive thoughts. Nice. I got a beautiful wife, beautiful life, like got beautiful children. Yeah. We have a blended family. I'm blessed to be where I'm at because it could have went the other way for me. Yep. So yeah, 100%. So how did you even get introduced to personal development? Like, was there someone who introduced you to it? Like, or did you just stumble upon it? No. Yeah. It was one of those things where I said, I have to do something. And for things to change, my mind has to start to change. Yep. So I just literally just one day I was sitting at the computer and I just said, you know what, personal development or, you know, mindset. And I started finding guys like Ed Milet and Brad and all these things. And I just, you know, started listening. I was like, man, this is what I need, you know? So, and it's easy. Everybody says, you know what? Oh gosh, if I had a better job, my life would be better. Yeah. If I drove a nicer car, my life would be better. Yep. You know, if I won the lottery, my life would be better. But really, what are you doing to change your life for yourself? Yep. You know, and it all starts with your mindset and belief in yourself. And when you start to really believe in yourself, you can you can move mountains. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think the mind is one of the most powerful things in life because it's like that saying, you know, like I say it on different shows, but it's the same. It's the same thing. It's like Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you're right. Right. Because the mind is just so powerful. So if you convince yourself, like, I can do this, you're going to do it. 100%. Yeah. And if you say like, oh, I'm not going to do this, you already basically hindered yourself. There's no way you're going to do it once you told yourself you can't. That's right. So that's cool that you have those, you kind of like, you wake up and you're like, I'm ready to crush today. Yeah. Yeah. I'll beat my chest in the mirror. Like, you know, I'm just like, my wife's like, this guy's a maniac in there. Who's he talking to in the mirror? You know, I'm getting myself pumped up for the day. Yeah. So I'm going to go make $1 million today. Nice. You know? Yeah. So, and if you don't, you still have a good day because you got a good attitude. Nice. You know, I mean, it's just, I'm blessed to be where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Now, obviously sales though, I mean, you don't always win. There's like, for us, like here internally, like we expect a 20% close ratio. So, I mean, that means you're getting 4 no's and then 1 yes.
Okay. So do 8 and you get 2.
Yeah. But how do you bounce back from those? Like, cause obviously when you get rejected, it kind of can hinder your performance.
It means nothing to me.
Nice.
Nothing to me. It's not. It's just, I got, if one person says no,
yeah,
great. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciated it.
Nice.
I got 20 more lined up. I got to focus on those.
Yeah.
I don't worry about anything from yesterday.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you just kind of live in the present where it's like, hey, that's in the past now.
100%. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing about it. You aren't going to change. Please give me your job, man. Oh, please, I need that job.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? If they say they hired somebody else, great. I wish you the best. I hope they build you a beautiful pool. Thank you so much. And I'm already, when I'm selling a job, my mind's already thinking about 5 more jobs that I got to get done tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah. Now, what I thought was pretty interesting is like, you want to talk about marketing though, too. Cause like, my sales team, like they're good at sales, but marketing is like not sales. So It's like, how do you gain the marketing skills when you're a sales guy?
That's a good question because I'm not a great marketer either, but I work for a company that is, because they care about their reputation. They care about going out and getting as many 5-star reviews as we can. All these little things that you can do to make, like we won just this year, we won it twice in a row, top 10 pool builder in Arizona. We got, I think, number 5 on the list this year.
Cool.
There's thousands of pool builders. But like, if you don't go after those kind of things, that's all marketing because people see those things. You can advertise those awards on your website.
Yep.
People want to hire the best. If you're spending your money on a pool, you want the best company to come in there and build it. So and we cater to a clientele where price is not always really an issue. They care about service. They care about quality. So so the companies, like, we don't even have to advertise. We just, our reputation in our town is just so good that the phone's ringing off the hook. We'll get, last year during, I think it was last spring, I was probably getting 50, 60 new clients every week from my office.
Wow.
Just me.
Wow.
That's how many leads were flooding in. And I look at that like, this is heaven.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
So, because I've been on the other side of it too, where you didn't know where you're going to get
your next
lead or job, right? So, I'll take all the work you can throw at me and I'll be happy with it, So, but the marketing I'm learning about marketing now.
Gotcha.
Because I always thought just sales guys are the kings of the company.
Yeah.
They run, but now it's with social media and the times we're living in with the internet.
Yeah.
You need a team that can go out there and market it. So like with the Pool Builder Academy, I hired on a guy, Julio, and he's spot on with this. Like, we're running ad campaigns and target ad campaigns specific to pool builders.
Nice.
Just saying, hey, you know what? You want to make more money? You want your sales guys to double their sales next year?
Yeah.
Let's help you, But I never thought about doing that kind of stuff back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, marketing's huge.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So for you, I mean, you basically partner up with people that understand and are good at marketing. So like Julio is one of your team members that's going to help you take this to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then your company as well, with all the leads you're getting for your pool, you're selling the pools and stuff.
Right.
So, have you ever had to do marketing yourself, or you just been blessed enough to work with these companies?
I've never had to do it myself, and I don't know how to do it. So I hire people who know how to do it.
Nice.
Because for me to start learning something new like that, it's going to take me away from doing what I do best.
Yep.
And I've already learned that lesson the hard way many times.
Yep.
By trying to do things I don't know what I was doing, learning on the fly. Learning on the fly for me just sounds like I'm about to go bankrupt, it feels like. Because it's like every time, it's like that's a hard way to start losing money.
Yep.
It's a lot cheaper to bring in an expert who can do that for you.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, it's all starting to click for me now.
Yep.
I can't do it all, so I'm just going to do what I'm best at, selling.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that's key, because a lot of people try to do it themselves, and it's like you're just slowing down your performance. Mm-hmm. It's like you could have hired somebody and you would have got to that next level a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I just rather cut somebody a check every month and and just see my numbers going up and keep focusing on what I do best than trying to just sit there and figure everything. It's just, the whole thing can collapse on you really quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, how do you, obviously you've been through a lot of ups and downs. Now you're last 4 years, you said you kind of bounced back from that. So what are the things, how do you not go back to that, after, having that kind of history behind you? How do you make sure you don't go back to that?
Gosh, I mean, I take it day at a time. I'm just grateful today that I'm where I'm at, and I'm surrounded by the people who are supporting me. They believe in me. They want to see me succeed. My wife wants to see me win. Everybody wants to see me win. So before I was surrounded by, strippers and drug dealers.
Yeah.
All they care about is themselves.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about me.
Yeah.
So I'm surrounded by people that care about me, and that helps me. And it's like every time you get a milestone, that's a win.
Yeah.
Like like that's important to me now.
Yeah.
I want to collect up wins.
Nice.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of know like your why now, like you have a purpose basically behind your wins.
Yeah.
Like it's like, you got your wife supporting you, you got, people other that you want to see that or want to see you win. And so now it's just like I know my reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a lot of people that depend on me, and I'm selfish about it. I don't want my wife to have to go and have a job. Like she's in the medical field, but I don't want to have to go work at a hospital. I'm like, well, you're going to ask a boss because we want to go out of town.
Yeah.
Like, what if he says no? Like, so I'd rather have her helping me and doing things with me. So, and that motivates me because for that to happen, I got to keep producing.
Yep.
And then, like my stepson, Caden, one of her sons, he just started working for our company now. He just turned 18. He's graduating in 2 weeks, and I brought him on board. He's like really smart computer, minded kind of an individual.
Nice.
He's a gamer. He just bought this new gaming computer we helped him get. And so now I'm like, and he wins tournaments on the weekends and wins Xboxes and stuff. Like he's into it.
Wow.
I said, I bet you'd be pretty good at doing design on the computer. So I said, Caden, come over here. I said, you can do this? He goes, yeah. He's already been pumping out work all week for me.
Oh, wow.
He loves it. Yeah. So we brought him into the company, so, being able to do that feels great.
Oh, 100%.
I love it.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest fulfillments for me is like seeing other people win, especially like your own family, your own team members. And it's like, man, you just get so much more fulfillment when, when you see them win versus yourself win.
I love helping people. I love when like our sales guys there at the office score a big job. I'm like, dude, I just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. My son, Max, it's funny. He's 13 now. And he's going to be a little salesman. I can already see it in him. Like he's got like hustle at school. He'll sell video games at school and make like $30 on them. And then like at Halloween, we were going out trick or treating,
Yeah.
And he kept coming back with these huge bags of candy. I'm like, well, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm just going there. He's like, Dad, it's like 8:30 at night. These people are tired. He's like, I'm telling them I'll give them like 2 big Snickers for the whole bag of candy, and they'll trade me, and they close their door for the night.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, look at you. You're hustling people for candy,
No way.
Yeah, so he's kind of got that little bit of a,
That's exciting, man.
That sales kind of personality, which is exciting. So I want to help develop that as he gets older.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, how do you, because now like with the marketing, you're not focusing on that, right? But you did have to learn how to like design pools. So like, how did you know like, okay, how do you say I'm going to learn this versus let me hire someone to design them?
Yeah. Well, because in the pool industry, like it's more geared toward like the sales guy is the designer as well. So there's people who are really good at design, but they're not good at sales. Right. So they might design 2 or 3 pools a month, maybe sell them. But I kind of do both. My designs, like I do really nice design work, but I'm also more motivated just to be selling all day long. So it's like part of the Pool Builder Academy is to maybe help those individuals who might not be people, like used to being talking to people, but they're really good at design work, helping them to kind of learn how to tips and tricks that are going to help them sell more pools, and because they already have the design down pat. I had to learn the design. Sales was easy for me.
Yep,
that's my comfort zone. But I had to learn how to do these crazy cool designs. Like one of our pools I designed, it took us 1.5 years to build. It's getting featured in a magazine next month.
Nice.
We had a photo shoot a few weeks ago on it. So like, and it's got grottos. It's cool. But
nice.
Like, I designed that, sold it, and now it's in a magazine.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, that's cool,
Yeah. And so how do you get that creativity though? Are you just listening to the customer's requests, or how do you put that design together?
No, really. I mean, if you're in the pool industry and you design pools, you should be already pretty creative. You should have these, you should have these ideas in your mind of what's going to be nice. But one of the biggest mistakes people make is they go out to a homeowner's house and they got their pad of paper and they're like, what do you want? Homeowner says, I think I want a nice pool. I want a hot tub, maybe a barbecue. Okay. So, but they just sit there like, you're the expert.
Right.
I go out to a backyard and I create the vision for them. I say, okay, so you want a pool? Okay, great. Let's put the pool over here. Oh, wow. I noticed you got a nice mountain view this way. Why don't we position the spa so you can see the mountains, but you can also see the spa when you're in your living room looking out at your pool, because it's going to be a nice feature. And let's do this and let's do that. And I build it in their mind while I'm standing in their backyard.
Nice.
Just like if you were selling a car, you're gonna say, oh, you want that new Ford truck? Great. What color? Silver? Oh, I love it. Can you see your family driving home in that thing? Like you're gonna love this truck. Camping trips are gonna be awesome in it because you paint the picture of them seeing themselves with it.
Right. Yeah, it's like they're sold before you even talk numbers.
Exactly right. Yep.
It's like they already see, like, I want this. I could just see like you selling to my wife, and my wife's like, you better buy this pool no matter what it costs. And I gotta I gotta figure out the numbers. Hold on.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's like, you as the professional, you should be out there taking the lead of the sales call,
Yep.
Don't be sitting there letting them kind of create it. You create it for them.
Yep.
Tell them what they want. Like, they're going to give you a wish list, but you need to paint that vision for them.
Yeah.
That to me is really what selling's about.
Yeah. And how do you pivot though? Like if a customer has a certain request, like do you pivot your
Great. If you have to have it that way, let's do it that way. Let's throw it in 3D. Let's design it. Let's see what it looks like. And if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get.
Gotcha.
No problem.
Nice.
I'll put a pool on your roof if that's where you really want your pool. It don't matter to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to do what you want. But the majority of clients are like, we know we want a nice backyard. Here's our budget. What can we get? Oh, okay. You got 150 grand to spend. Awesome. We can give you some turf for the kids. We can give you the spas. We can give you a rock feature. Does that sound like what you want? Yeah, that sounds great. But one of the ways you really get to it though, is like, I bring my iPad with me on the sales call. So I'll let them, I'll be sitting there talking to them, and the wife will be having my iPad on the porch, and she'll just be scrolling through. I've designed thousands of pools now, it's like, she'll just be scrolling through some of my albums, looking at stuff.
Right.
Oh, I love that design. Show it to me. I'll say, okay, yeah, cool. So I let them, get ideas as well, which points me in the right direction. Just make, so I'm not so much shooting in the dark on it.
Right. But do you know the budget, like before you go on this?
I ask.
Okay.
I'm point blank with people, Yeah. Because because sometimes what happens is you go into a backyard, people don't have a realistic idea of what things really cost. Unless you're telling them, they're going to sit there and tell you they want Disneyland.
Right.
And then you're going to come back and you're going to say it's going to be 350 grand. They're like, oh, we only wanted to spend 40,000.
Yeah.
People don't know. So they, we try to get that from pre-screening. We have a punch list that they can fill out,
right.
Which I want to turn that into a virtual thing where I talk to them, say, so what kind of pool do you want? Free form, rectangular, hit the button, and then I could just go into it with them, on the virtual platform. That's part of what I want to do. But right now we pre-screen them, and then when I go out there and meet them, I just, I'm saying, okay, so what you're telling me right now is you want to spend a couple $100,000. Oh no. Okay, so let's scale that back then, and that way I know I'm not setting up a design where I'm just wasting my time.
Right.
No.
Gotcha. Now, so obviously, once you paint the vision, now is it your assistant that's dealing with all the numbers, or do you help
I do it.
Oh, you do it.
We do it. Yeah, we do our own. Yeah, so we design it. We have a pricing structure. Real, it's awesome the way the company I work for with Omni, they are so good at setting up a systems in place. And putting a process together where it makes it really easy for us. So we have this nice program on the computer where we can punch in all the pool specs and everything that we put on the design, because the design program sends you all your specs. It tells you exactly how many gallons the pool is going to be, how many pavers you got down to the inch, So we plug those numbers in, we get the quote, send it to the client. And that's another thing. I email people nowadays. They want to see numbers. And they want to see it now. Now, and a lot of other pool companies are like, well, I need to come back to your house to show you the presentation, or I need to have you come here. People are like, I don't need to do that. Like, just how much is the pool now that I wanted?
Right.
So I that's another thing. I speed with, I send them the quotes via email. Here you are, put a deposit down. Let's get this going.
Yeah.
Cool. Great.
And then do you follow up with them? Like if you don't hear back, or?
I do, but I don't pester people. Like I'm not the guy who's going to call you every day. Like when you're ready to make a decision, you know who to call. I don't need to be bugging you. But if it goes on to be like 2 weeks and I don't hear from them, then I do say, hey, just checking in. Did you hire somebody else? You still thinking about it? Can I do anything for you? Do you need any changes? If you do, don't feel bad to bother me with it. Let me help you with changes. But for the most part, I already have such a good relationship with them. By the time I do give them the quote, I could go in their house and probably sit at their dinner table with them.
Nice.
That's how well I know them.
Yeah.
I've been texting them, because from the time I meet them to the time I give them a quote, which might be 2-3 days, maybe sometimes worst case a week if I'm super buried. But during that week though, I'm sending them videos about pool cleaning systems. I'm keeping in touch with them. So I'm staying on the top of their mind the whole week.
Wow.
So if they're working with somebody else and they haven't heard from that guy, but they're hearing from me every day,
right,
they're more inclined just to go with my bid when they get it.
Right.
Because they're like, this guy's been a rock star from day one. Let's just keep this going. Because you are, as a sales guy, you are, first impressions. You're the first impression for your company that you work for.
Right.
If you suck, they're going to think your whole company sucks.
Yep.
If you can't produce and you can't call people back when they want to spend their money with you, what's it going to be like when they hire your company? How's the rest of the company going to perform?
Right.
Your sales guy needs to be on his game.
100%.
I mean, that's your job.
Yeah.
You represent yourself, but you also represent the company that you're working for.
Yep.
And it's your duty to put your best foot forward.
Yep.
Check your hair. Make sure you look good when you go to their house.
Yep.
Put on a little cologne, smell good.
Yep.
People notice these things.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's key because it's like for me, like my sales guy is a representation of me and what I stand for, my values. So it's like when I have prospects who are like, no, I want to meet with you, Joel. I'm like, hey, meet with my sales guy. He knows my values. He knows what I stand for. Mm-hmm. He's going to give you the same sales presentation that I would.
That's right.
So just stick to my sales process and you're going to be 100%
That's right.
satisfied.
That's right. And when you work for a company, it doesn't matter what you're selling. When you work for a company that can back you up and they're going to be badass at actually building that pool, it gives you so much more confidence as a sales guy.
Oh yeah.
Because you're selling something that really they're going to knock it out of the park for you. They're going to make you look good.
Yeah.
So that's also that. So that's just as important for the company to have that, to back their sales guys too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's mutual. You got, it's
the service has to be there. Yep.
It's teamwork, man. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So Tom, like what are some of the things that you're looking forward to, like, going forward? What are you excited about?
I'm excited just to continue the personal growth. I'm excited to buy a house with my wife and we can kind of just, get settled in somewhere and lots of good things coming. I'm excited to, build a new business now with the Pool Builder Academy.
Yep.
And I have so many other business ideas too that I'm going to, branch off into, but one thing at a time. But the future's looking bright. I love it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Hey, well, Tom, thanks for being on the show. If anybody wants to hit you up, they can find you on social media, on Instagram under Tom Delaney Official. And also you'll be building one for your academy, Pool Builder Academy. So correct. Thanks for being on the show, Tom. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.